I have a brand new setup for Emini S&P NightTrader for NinjaTrader 8. It's version 5. I worked on this. One of the things I wanted to do was to add the cancel and replace. The cancel and replace will allow you to you don't have to worry about getting partial fills or if it touches the limit and it's not filled. Let me show you, for example. I backtest these such that when the market touches the limit order, it registers a strategy fill, and in real-time trading that may not always happen, and so you have to cancel and replace. And so you see these inputs 11, 12, and 13. I want to point those out to you right here. 11, 12, and 13. Cancel and replace the entry to the market. You can check that, and it will do that within 3 seconds. You can change that to 0, 1, 2, 3, or whatever number you want. That's in seconds. And then the profit target to market, because it's also a limit order. You don't want it to hit the profit target, touch it, not fill you, turn around, go all the way back down and get stopped out. So I prefer to do it this way and take my $25 round turn slippage and commission on average than to not know. There's two ways to test strategies, and I've gone over this in the past, and it's in part of my FAQs. So go to the FAQ to read more about this. I created a special function in NinjaTrader 7 to do this sort of back test liberal fill with open, and in NinjaTrader 8 they added this right here, so you could actually back test fill limit orders on touch. And then when you back test it this way, you want to actually automate it this way. So we cancel and replace the entry to market, and we cancel and replace the exit to market. Sometimes you get a better fill, sometimes you get a worse fill, depending on how fast the market is moving, type of market. We average $25 round turn slippage and commission on almost all markets over time when you test it this way. Sometimes you can get much more than this on any given trade, and sometimes you can get less. But on average, $25 round turn slippage and commission is what I get, and you take that out of your average trade profit to determine what you need. That's why we say that we like to have at least $50 average trade profit in a strategy when we back test it. This strategy has about 244 average trade profit, so you have plenty of room. It's an overnight strategy. And so when you have overnight strategies and strategies with larger stop losses and profit targets, you can have bigger average trade profit, and the slippage and commission doesn't matter. We want to match the back test on execution. So that's how we have it set up, and that's why I have this. Otherwise, you're stuck waiting on the limit order to get filled, and the strategy might get filled, or you might get a partial fill, and you don't want that. You want to, in that case, you would maybe get partial fills on profitable trades and completely filled on losing trades, and we don't want that either. So that is the update. I'm going to show you the data settings, how to set this up, as well as the input settings. Now I want to show you the inputs on this, and so it's important to understand the inputs. Now we have a data 2 symbol here, so if you want to trade this on the micros, you want the data 2 symbol to be the Emini S&P, not the micro. We're trading ES pound pound dash pound pound. That's a kinetic specific symbol. If you don't have kinetic, simply use ES. We're currently in December 2019. Emini S&P December of 19, but we're measuring it against the Emini S&P. So if you are trading the micros, then it will be MES, and this number, regardless of whether you're trading the Emini S&P or the micros, will be ES. It's either pound pound dash pound pound, or if you don't have kinetic, you can go ES 1219. So if you're trading the micros, make this symbol up here in your chart. This is the symbol for the chart. It's a 1-minute chart, and you go MES 1219, and in the data settings, or these are actually the input settings for the strategy. You want to use ES 1219. Now, if you have, if you're using the micros, you want to change this number to 150 because it's 1/10 the size, and this is on a per contract basis. So even if you trade 10 contracts, this number is 150 if you're trading the micros. And if it doesn't make sense to trade 10 micro contracts, you should just trade one ES. but if you're trading, you know, multiple, like 2 or 3 micros, it doesn't matter. You don't have to increase these numbers. So you don't have to say, oh, I'm trading 3 micros. This should be 450 and that should be 210. No, you just keep this at 150 and this at 70, regardless of how many contracts you're trading. If you're trading the micros, and if you're trading the E-mini, same thing. You keep this at 1500 and you keep this at 700. So those are the inputs. Now the start time and finish time, I want to go over those. This recalculates regardless of your time zone. So if these are based on Eastern Standard Time, but if you're on Mountain Time or Central Time, you still leave these numbers at 2300 and 215 because the strategy recalculates based on Eastern Standard Time regardless of where you are, so you don't have to adjust those. So the check mark just simply means that the stop loss is on. If you want to take the stop loss off for some reason, I don't recommend that. It's possible you could take the profit target off. Another important setting is the time in force. By default, we're using good till cancel because this is a swing trade strategy. So I had updated this for this setup, and I had to go from managed to unmanaged. I don't know if you know the difference between that and NinjaTrader. You can Google that, managed or unmanaged. Managed does a lot of things for you if you have a simple strategy, but if you add additional features to your strategy, you have to use unmanaged, and it's a lot more code. And we have some unmanaged strategies in the members area for algorithmic trading systems and 7 trading systems for the S&P futures if you want to look at that. And it also includes the programming for this type of order management. But when you have a swing trade strategy, you need to use good till cancels. I was using day orders on my back test, and I didn't know why it wasn't back testing properly, and it was something simple like this. I had forgotten to change this to good till cancel. Good till cancel, GTC, means it's good till canceled. Day order means that your order will be canceled at the end of the day. So I've gone over a lot of information about NightTrader specifically for NinjaTrader 8. You want to make sure this is enabled. You do not want to use this exit on session close. You can. The results are decent, but they're not nearly as good. The average trade profit is lower. And so basically you could experiment with different time frames if you wanted. You could also trade this. You could also make this a day trade. You might find a way to make this a day trade. I haven't exhaustively tested this. So NightTrader could be a day trader as well. So this is a little mini webinar on how to set up NightTrader for NinjaTrader. And this is version 5. I had several versions that I was working on. And I just updated the version. I didn't release those other versions because I couldn't figure out what the errors were. So we jumped from version 2 to version 5. 3 and 4 were just scratch versions. And so we're on version 5. Adding the cancel and replace. Version 2, we added the ability, data 2 symbol, to trade the micros against the E-minis. And so you can compare the micros to the E-minis for the back test or in real time. And so those are the updates. If you haven't downloaded your trial yet, it's one of my favorite strategies, E-mini S&P NightTrader. You can get that. There'll be a link below this video on how to get a hold of the Ninja script for that for a free trial.